Deshaun Watson was the quarterback. I wouldn't be doing this.
When I'm about to say, I say very, very jokingly because I love you, playmaker. You can come after me with no problem because I did the game. I saw every L that we took during that what was supposed to be a snooze fest, and it turned out to be anything but.
I'm sitting here like, man, Deshaun Watson ain't even playing. What's the point of we paying attention?
Now, who thought Jake Moody was going to miss that 41-yard field goal with under 10 seconds remaining?
I truly didn't. This is how bad it got, playmaker.
I bet Snowman was like, you know what? I'll probably do the first half of the game. They don't have Deshaun Watson, so about halftime, I can be done with this game.
I thought that, and I even told Jody that we can go out somewhere to eat at halftime because she was watching the Colts get destroyed in that house of horrors we like to call the Gator Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I'd be done at halftime. So we actually, Cole, I kid you not, we planned to go to Applebee's at halftime of the 49er game.
Let me get this straight. Plan to go to Applebee's after the annual Gator Bowl butt whooping the Colts get.
Mm-hmm.
And the snooze fest you thought was going to be the 49ers.
And I thought it was going to be. That I absolutely emphatically thought it was going to be. Hell, Victor joined me for the broadcast on Sunday, and after many suggestions from friends of mine, except for Sunday, where Jody will join me as the Colts have to play those doggone elves that are beating their chest right now, as they should. And I will tell y'all right now, Cleveland is in my rankings for this week. You'll see the rankings at 6 p.m. tonight. But we said we can go to Applebee's because, and this is Jody's words, open it.
Oh, Lord. Really? Quote.
Since the Colts are busy getting their ass kicked and the Browns are going to be busy getting their ass kicked, we can leave at halftime, go enjoy some dinner, watch whatever game they have on that's not the Colts or the 49ers, and we can call it a day.
Close quote.
And at my own expense, and to keep Playmaker entertained and everybody entertained, and I know y'all gonna get a laugh at this, like I said, at my own expense. And now a selection from the Wonder Bread Choir entitled, Y'all Lost to Some Damn Elves.
And then the Browns said to your beloved wife,
Stop the cap.
They said it to her and then said it to me. Again.
Know what I just thought about? Y'all took a seventh L. There was no.
Why the you lying? Why you always lying?
You got beat by a team with no Deshaun Watson, no Nick Chubb.
So the Browns,
but Nick Chubb's been out for a good while. Now, if he was out, if he was out leading up to that week, then I would give you that. But he's been out since their L they took in
the bad
Pittsburgh.
The bad news is we took several. What was the attendance? 64,000 L's on Sunday. The good news is Debo avoided a major injury. McCaffrey avoided a major injury. Right. And in getting reports, they both will have an opportunity to play on Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
Depending how practice goes. Look.
They did not change that Monday night game. Oh,
why would they change the game?
Wait. Playmaker.
It's a crap fest anyway. Why would he want to change the game?
We get to take all of our anger out on Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins. And the last 2 times.
You don't have to do that. It's Kirk Cousins in prime time.
Let me finish. We get to take all of our anger out on Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins in Minnesota because they beat us.
Throw 300 yards in that game.
They beat us in 2018. When we were trying to figure out what Garoppolo brought to the offense. Listen, the last 2 times they came to our house and we kicked their ass. Now we're going to go to their house with everybody in tow because early reports show McCaffrey can play Monday. Samuel can play Monday. It's all going to depend on practice. I'll talk about all this tonight on that 49ers show. And yes, I'll have a bunch of comedy bits as well because I'm already loaded for that. All the injuries that were sustained were not major injuries, and everybody, including Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw was the biggest L we took because he didn't play. And where Dre Greenlaw was missing, that's where Cleveland gashes for 170 yards.
All right, playmaker. So if you wanted this Monday night game to be flex, what do you want to put in its place? Another Commanders-Giants game on Monday night?
Dear God. Unless it's Lawrence Taylor and Joe Theismann, no thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We all know what happened to Kirk Two Chainz Cousins in prime time.
Yeah, you're right.
Now you adding a pissed off 49ers team.
He'll throw 300 yards. He'll look spectacular, but he still will take the.
Cole, how about this?
Gentlemen, I must tell you this story. This is how bad it got. 2 of my children were giving me mess.
They don't follow football.
2 of my daughters, and neither of them love football as much as Jody or I. 2 of my daughters were giving me mess. Sonia and Cheyenne. Cheyenne called me yesterday. Gave me a lot of platitudes about it's going to be tough sledding for her for dating because she's seen me and Jody together. And then decided to throw me a curveball and say, Pop, your 49ers did not look good on Sunday. And I burst out laughing. And then,
Cole, to answer your question, Cole,
and then
they can go to Baltimore because you have Lamar Jackson versus Jared Goff. That should be your Monday night game.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
I would like to see that match. The way
is that a 1 o'clock? Is that a 1 o'clock? Is that a 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock on Fox.
It's a 1 o'clock kickoff on Fox. Won't give that game up.
Playmaker, I have a question for you. Do you want to be our guest picker this week?
No. Can you be?
Can you be our guest picker this week?
This week, that would be a no.
That's what I thought.
Why not?
I'm off today and I'm off tomorrow, and I go back and start my new store.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Well then, yeah, you can then. Okay.
You can, and you will. I'll say it right here. Playmaker will be our guest picker this week, and I might have to bring Victor back into the fray. 21 after the hour. Let's pause for a break. When y'all get back, dear Arizona Diamondbacks. With the Playmaker and Cole Johnson and the cast of thousands in the Fanatics feedback zone, I'm the Snowman. This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. We're back in a flash.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition,
dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason.
Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pistol 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube. J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying. But this is also an option.
Wise El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Bobby J and Wise El Jefe. Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. Well, you don't see Snowman, but we are rejoined by the Playmaker. And
y'all know, I'm gonna be in the background because I am preparing for bearing down the gridiron today.
Oh, that's so nice. Bearing down the gridiron.
Yep, today, 1
p.m.
p.m.
on the Playmakers Blog Network YouTube channel. Tune into that. That's wonderful stuff right there.
And when Snowman get back, I'll explain to how to pick and how I make my sleep. So I think he's confused about how that goes.
I see. All right. Well then,
go ahead and talk about them freaking Phillies on.
Well, we can talk about the Phillies since they decided to give your Braves a early vacation, a second consecutive October.
Which is why I've been sitting here saying like, okay, October.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I said it. I put it on Facebook. I'm gonna say it live on here, and Cole gonna lie because he know what I'm gonna say. When fall season comes around, that means the fall of the Braves.
Ouch! Yeah, you did post that. I remember seeing that. Ouch! Fall season, the fall of the Braves. That's cold.
That's what it is.
That is, it's cold.
That's how you know I'm a Braves fan because I already know. Wait till fall season get here, then we'll see.
So October came and Atlanta went. I'm so sorry, Playmaker.
And the Phillies might win the whole damn thing this year.
Yeah, they look that impressive.
What is going on with your Astros, man?
Well, we'll talk about the Astros now. All right. So the Astros have had difficulty for some reason playing at home all year long. They finished the 2023 season 39-41 at the Juice Box, which that's a rarity. But they love being on the road. They've won 50 this year 51 this year on the road. And I'm thinking, how the heck you actually like playing more on the road than home? And even though the series is shifting to Globe Life Field in Arlington, the last time they actually played there, the Astros outscored the Rangers 39-10 and swept them. And they only lost one game there in the 7 that they played this year there. And I'm thinking to myself, how is it that you enjoy playing on the road more than at home? But I will say this, though, and this is the problematic thing. Verlander.
6.5 the total here. The Capitals, they kind of suck now, Joe. And I think the Senators will get them, but I'm not laying 175 with the Senators. I'm not going to be doing that.
How about over? Let's go over the 6.5.
Let's go over. Let's just go over. Who forget about it?
Party over. Let's do it. Party over.
The Penguins are minus 125 road favorites in Detroit in the other game tonight. Also a 6.5. Now this one, Joe, we will go over the 6.5 for the Penguins and the Red Wings. So that's what we have tonight. Two games. You're not sold on.
I was going to give a pick. I'm just not sold on the Penguins from what I've seen. Give me the Red Wings. You know.
Okay. There you go. You're not sold.
Is Yzerman
2 or
still
3
on
games
that
into the
team?
season. You're not sold on the Red Wings. That's all fine and good, Joe. I respect
No,
that.
I'm not sold on the
your
Penguins.
Your comments are respected and they're on the record, Joe. The Penguins,
good.
2 or 3 games
I
into the
said it.
season, you're not sold on them. You said it, Joe. I will see you
said it.
tonight. Carver and Lisi, Sports Grid Radio, 8 p.m. East here. And then tomorrow, Scotty back, of course. You got Warren Sharp on a Thursday, Jacksonville and New Orleans with the Thursday night game. We have game time decisions next here on Sports Grid. Get you ready for tonight. Joe, great job as always. Great job by Mafia and the crew. We had Gabe, we had Davis, we had Cam, we had Coach. Great job by all. Pharrell Coast to Coast. Cash some tickets. We'll see you back here tomorrow on the Grid.
You're listening to Western Reserve Radio on westernreserveradio.com.
The president is en route to make a wartime visit to Israel right after a deadly blast at a Gaza hospital that killed hundreds.
Palestinian officials blame Israel, but the Pentagon said it's not clear who's responsible. Israel says the bombing was the result of a rocket misfire carried out by Islamic Jihad Palestinian militants. I'm Dave Collins.
According to a Palestinian official, an Israeli airstrike on that Gaza hospital resulted in hundreds of casualties. This attack occurred last night amid the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. However, Pentagon Deputy Press Secretary Sabrina Singh says it is not clear who's responsible for that missile strike.
It should be very clear that Hamas is the one putting Palestinians or those in Gaza at great risk.
Israel has stated that they do not target hospitals. Israeli forces seem ready for a ground invasion of Gaza in response to coordinated attacks by Hamas earlier this month. Israel has both enforced a blockade on the Gaza Strip and conducted airstrikes in the region. The casualties from that conflict have now reached 4,200. The U.S. and Israel have come to an agreement to facilitate the distribution of humanitarian aid from donor nations to civilians in Gaza. Rising concerns about a broader conflict in the Middle East are driving up oil prices.
While neither Israel nor Hamas is a major oil supplier, if the conflict were to escalate, it could pose a greater risk to oil markets. Analysts are anticipating that oil prices may reach $100 per barrel in the near term due to the escalating regional tensions. I'm John Schaefer.
This is USA News.
Right now, you can eliminate odors, mold, mildew, bacteria, and viruses in your home with the Eden Pure Thunderstorm Air Purifier. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm uses oxy technology that naturally sends out O3 molecules that seek out and destroy odors. The Thunderstorm doesn't mask or cover up bad smells, it eliminates them, leaving that fresh, clean smell, just like after a thunderstorm. The Thunderstorm is small, plugs right into the wall, and fits in the palm of your hand. Put one in your basement, bedroom, family room, kitchen, or anywhere you want clean, fresh air. It even includes a USB cord for your car or truck. Right now, save $200 on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. That's 3 units for under $200, a fraction of the cost compared to other air purifiers. Go to EdenPureDeals.com and use discount code USA3 to save $200. That's EdenPureDeals.com. Use USA and the number 3. Shipping is free.
Important this week is with it being rivalry week and being the Blue Devils in specific.
Well, it's everything. Coming off 2 losses to 2 really good teams, and now you got another really good team. It's everything to our boys, our town, the community, everything, our staff. We're treating it like a 1-game season. You say you take it week by week, but this is really week by week. And again, we're to a 1-game season here, and it's us and McDonald week 10 at our place. And, you couldn't have any more chips on the table. Both have the same record. We're like mirror images of each other. And it's exciting. It's stressful as a coach, but it's also exciting. And, you got to make sure that you stay focused and keep some of the outside stuff as as under wraps as you can. But man, I tell you what, you want to talk about an atmosphere and just an exciting week of practice. Again, this game's everything to both programs.
How do you address it with the players specifically? I mean, you just really touched on it, how you look at it and how the coaches obviously are looking at it and just in general terms, how big of a week is. How do you, now that we are in week 10, address this week specifically? Obviously playoffs are possibly on the line. Hopefully everything takes care of itself and there is another week next week, but you can't ignore the fact that playoffs are a part of this game this week. How do you address that with the team?
I probably talked more to you in that last 45 seconds about the weight of this game than I have all week to our boys. Honestly, it's a 1-week season. We got to win this one. You got to win it to go on. And I think that's how you look at it. It's a playoff game. If you win it, guys, you know we're moving on. And I get to be with you guys week 11. And that's how we're approaching it. And our boys have done a real good job. They know that it's McDonald week. They get it. Last week, we didn't even mention them. It was about trying to be a really good reserve team. And we're able to talk about it now, and they get it, and they know what it means for our program to win this one. And we want to do everything we can to sway the tide to Ridge's way and get 2 years in a row against McDonald. And they're a good football team. You know what? It's going to be a fun one. It's, again, like I said, we're mirror images of each other. If you look at our scores against common opponents, we look identical. Our offenses look identical, and we're both very aggressive and play hard-nosed defense. So, we're going to have to do the little things right to get this one, and, we're excited about it.
We're super excited about it as well, to be calling the game. Obviously, you have schools that have big rivalry games this week. Like, for instance, I went to Ursuline. They have the Holy War this week. Both schools, they dress up both of their schools up. They decorate the outside and the inside. Every day of the week, they have a different day where kids dress up and everything. When I went to Ursuline, Dick Angle was my head coach. And one of the things he always talked about was, quote unquote, staying away from the hoopla. How do you do that for these kids? Because obviously, there's a lot of fun things going on. You kind of drift into it sometimes. He did a good job of keeping us away from it. Obviously, the players did not involve themselves in said hoopla. How do you keep them away from that?
I think we got to do a good job as coaches by giving them an example to lead. It's Spirit Week. They're dressing up, but they understand it. We do. We have the bonfire and a parade tomorrow night. And, we do that. We understand that it's very important to our community and that. But, it's a thing that Coach Allen always talks to us, that we, the entire team about. Never get too high, never get too low. Let's just stay that middle ground and plug away together. And that's kind of how our approach always is. We're going to enjoy the community. We're going to do our part to be there. But our message to our boys tonight was Friday night is what these next 2 days are all about. It's about the kickoff at 7:00. Let's do our part to be there with the community. Let's celebrate. Let's understand this week. But the bigger understanding has to mean what 7:00 means on Friday. And that game and how we play has to take care of itself. And it has to cap off a senior class that has to go out on top. And that's kind of been our message.
I love it. That is so exciting for me, being an ex-player and coach. And I love hearing that coming from both you and Coach Allen. Also looking into this week, you touched on how both of you are mirror images of each other. Can you at the very least mention, some of the players from McDonald that we should be watching out for this week?
Well, yeah, one thing that I try not to do, because I never want to put a name with a number, even though our boys know them. They're just another number to us. But number 10, he's taken over the reins of quarterback. He's a big physical kid. He plays a pretty good stand-up end, outside linebacker, whatever you want to call him. He's a sophomore, but he's their guy. They go through him on offense and on defense. He's really important for them to set the edge. And you know what? when you play a McDonald team, you know you're going to face a physical line. So them guys up front play really, really hard. You know, number 70 is a much improved player from last year. You know, he didn't get a lot of time, but now that he's back, I know he's back from injury from the beginning of the year. He's a physical presence. Number 9, you know, he runs the ball very well. He plays really well in space. Number 11. You know, again, we treat them as numbers because I don't want them to get caught up in that M on the helmet.
Right.
They're just another group of guys that are going to stand across that field from us that want to take something that's rightfully ours, and it's that win. And you know, we got to get after number 10. You know, he's a dude. He's only a sophomore, but he's their guy. And you know, I got to mention 13 because he's a stud too. But you know what I mean? It's young men playing a game of football, but boy, is this one an exciting one.
It is. And man, that gets me pumped up that you do that. And I agree with you 100%, not getting into names and looking at them as numbers, because that's what you see when you're on the field. Touching on, you know, I'm not going to ask you obviously specific players or anything, but, you know, you touched on injuries for them. Are we going to be looking at, you know, the cupboards being full this Friday?
You know, we just keep getting more and more healthy. I'm not saying I got guys back 100%, but we got guys back that are going to play that haven't played in a little while. And we understand they're going to be one-way guys. They're going to give us the reps they can give us until they can't go anymore, because it is this week. And, you know, like you said, there may not be a next week. So why wouldn't you give it everything you got in this rivalry game? Get after these guys, stand toe-to-toe with them. As long as you can, and that's our approach. And yeah, we're getting a couple guys back, and again, it may just be for one side of the ball, but it's better than not having them.
Oh God, I agree with you. One last thing I wanted to ask you, you mentioned, you know, there's a parade, you know, for anybody that isn't aware of that, do you happen to know about what time we're starting that tomorrow?
Yep. Everyone's going to report at 6. The parade's going to go at 6:30, and then right from the parade, they go directly to the bonfire.
Awesome. Well, we are also, me and Matt Lipsack, who obviously call the games for you guys, will be in the parade with you. So we look forward to it. We cannot wait for this Friday. I know you guys are going to be pinning the ears back and bringing it. Coach Shaner, good luck this Friday. We can't wait to see you guys. You have a great night. And again, we appreciate you being here and everything you've done for us this year.
Thank you guys and everything you do for local high school football.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
That
was Coach Brian Shaner of the Mineral Ridge Rams. Can't wait for Friday, everybody. 7 p.m. at Mineral Ridge Field. The McDonald Blue Devils coming to town. We'll be right back.
With over 30 years of experience, Madurex Butcher Block in Mineral Ridge is a quality-driven company focused on great personal service. Our fresh meats are of the finest cut. We make a variety of burgers, sausages, and a full line of deli meats. Using our own smokehouse, we prepare different types of jerky, snack sticks, kibasi, bacon, hot dogs, and bone-in hams. When your tummy needs some relief, call 652-BEEF. That's 330-652-2333.
Action Physical Therapy is a locally owned outpatient physical therapy company serving the Mahoning Valley for over 20 years. With 5 convenient locations in Hubbard, Cortland, Kinsman, Salem, and Mineral Ridge. Action Physical Therapy can handle all of your physical therapy needs. Action Physical Therapy will create a unique plan made specifically for you. Call us at 1-8333-BEST-PT to schedule your evaluation today. Check us out at myactionpt.com. Get back in action with Action Physical Therapy. And as always, go Rams. If you are seeking a skilled photographer in Northeast Ohio with experience in capturing documentary-style photographs for various occasions such as family events, weddings, graduations, sporting events, and other special occasions, look no further than Colleen Moore Photography. Accessible via ColleenMoorePhotography.com, or she can be reached at 330-314-7547. Colleen sends her best wishes to the Mineral Ridge Rams for a fantastic season. Go Rams!
From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One Network.
And welcome back to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emps. We're going to go right into the phone lines. We have our own Jim Craven on. Hey, Jim, how are you doing? Thanks for being here.
Outstanding. Looking forward to this weekend. Looks like it's going to be a little rainy, but definitely excited.
It is. And, I was just looking at the schedule for the Tigers. I mean, coming into this week, you guys are 7-2. You've really turned it on at the end of the year. You guys have your big rival game this week against the Louisville Rockets, 8-1. What can you tell us about the matchup?
Well, I don't know if this was a matchup that would have been a marquee matchup 10 weeks ago, but it certainly has evolved into that. Louisville having a fantastic season. I was taking a look at the numbers in terms of common opponents. Springfield is 6-0, Louisville's 5-1. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be the first week since they played South Range that averages more points per game than Springfield. Louisville at 37 a game, Springfield at 34. So when you look at it on paper, and I know that, it's not played on paper, but the numbers tell me this is going to probably be the best matchup player for player that Springfield has seen all year.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I have been, really obviously paying attention to any games that we have here at the station, and doing that three-man team that we had for the Mineral Ridge Springfield game, and I loved it, and I got a great look at you guys, and man, there are some excellent players there. They're coming into their own. You've got some young ones coming up, but you really have a junior, senior, laden team, which is what you want veteran wise, going into the playoffs, considering if you guys win this week, what would Springfield be ranked, and who would you possibly be looking at playing?
Well, they're they're number 4 right now in Division 7, Region 25. So last I had checked, might be a matchup with Southern, depending on what they do. But the points are real close right now. But certainly I think I can speak pretty confidently that they'll be hosting a game in week 1, regardless of the outcome of this week. But certainly, this one with Louisville, they don't want to look past that. That's going to be a great matchup. And they're going to have to go down to Louisville to play this one.
Yeah, that's definitely not an easy place to play. Obviously, Mineral Ridge going to their house earlier in the season. I and Matt Lipsack were extremely impressed with what the Rockets did. Their coaches did an unbelievable job, breaking down films, having their kids ready to, exploit the weaknesses of the Rams. And they've been doing that with a lot of other teams. What concerns you that they could exploit with the Tigers? Because other than them playing very well right now, obviously no team is perfect. What worries you a little bit about them?
Well, and I'll say just the last couple of weeks, and it's been uncharacteristic of a Sean Guerrero team, is the penalties. And it's been in situations where it's been short distance. They may, drawing them off sides, but also we've seen some 15-yard penalties, which again, that's uncharacteristic of a Springfield team. And I would hope that wouldn't continue, but if you watch film, if you see what you can do, if you can get them to jump in those 3rd and 3s, 4th and 1, in something in those situations where you're looking to continue the drive, that's something that if I am Coach Guerrero, I'm working on this week. I'm trying to put the earmuffs on so that they're not listening to the cadence of the quarterback. And you know what? I'll tell you, Coach Guerrero and that staff do an amazing job getting those young men ready. Week to week, I see the adjustments they make, and they're impressive. So, again, beyond the penalties, I don't worry much about in terms of athletic ability, skill. They did get Dante Gentile back last week, who was the great 1-2 punch with Case and Kosick, and he ran for a lot of hard yards last week. He never went down on the first hit or the first tackle. So I think they're going to come in relatively healthy. So right now it's a matter of execution. It's going to be a matter of playing their game and just trying to avoid those unnecessary penalties. Not that there's ever a necessary penalty.
Right. And obviously, turnovers, you don't want to create anything in a game like this with two amazing teams that are really coming into their own right now. I was looking at the only loss for the Rockets, and that was to Western Reserve, who, again, I got to see last week. Matt got to see, unfortunately, beat the Rams 28-14. Very similar, in my opinion, to Lowville in terms of the way they pass. I was super impressed with whenever they caught pass, they got those rack yards, and they catch them, and immediately their receivers are taught to cut underneath to avoid that first tackle. They have some really big boys on the line at Western Reserve, but Lowville has shown, when they're outsized, that really doesn't make any difference. The speed that I saw from them is just incredible. So I think that game is going to be phenomenal. Again, Coach Shaner had mentioned how McDonald and Springfield are mirror images of each other. I really think there's a lot of comparisons between Lowville and Springfield. I think you guys run the ball better than they do, but the passing games, man, you guys are excellent at that.
Well, and if you look at the numbers, and ironically, Springfield, their average per game is right around 225 yards. Lowville's is 201. Passing yards, Springfield hasn't had to throw a whole lot because they've been in that clock control offense, running the ball, throwing when they needed to, and they're only averaging about 78 yards passing per game, where Lowville is about 174. So Lowville's, again, numerically is much more balanced than Springfield. But again, it's based on opponents too. When, what do you have to do? And right now, Springfield's been ahead in a lot of games where they're looking to run the clock down. Yeah, it's been lopsided at halftime. So, they keep the ball on the ground. But Lowville, they're putting up right around about 380 yards a game. So that's been absolutely impressive. And Springfield's defense is going to have to be disciplined, because if not, Andy Mamula, the head coach over at Lowville, will certainly take advantage of that.
Yeah. And, another thing that Matt and I were extremely impressed by with the Rockets was the cousin of last year's quarterback, Barone, who is now a tight end at YSU. I think he's going to be an incredible tight end. I remember Tim Tyrrell, who was a great quarterback at Ursuline, switched to tight end, and he had a great career at Youngstown State as a tight end. I think that Mr. Barone is going to do just as well as a tight end. But his cousin, who is now starting quarterback, my God, they haven't missed a beat. So I agree with you. You Springfield Tigers are going to have to really, buckle down, especially defensively against the pass. I think you guys are definitely capable of it. It's going to be a hell of a matchup. And, I coached at Lowville in 94 and 95, and that rivalry is a mean one. They don't like each other at all. So, good luck to you guys. Today WKBN came out with the latest OHSAA high school football computer rankings, and it says there's a total of 29 local teams currently in the mix entering week 10. Did you happen to look at some of those teams that are, in the mix, and which ones impress you?
Certainly, yeah, we're getting into week 10 here, and I think we've seen enough separation with these teams and where they're going to go and whatnot. But I have to, and I haven't mentioned them all year, is I got to talk about the Struthers Wildcats.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna go to Poland this week, take on the Bulldogs. That's become a really great rivalry, a lot of fun, to the point where Struthers wouldn't even say Poland's team name last week when they talked about this week. So it's gotten very interesting, and I think Struthers has been one of those teams, they have played well, but they've kind of flown under the radar a little bit, and that's that I think Poland's going to have to be extra cautious with this one. I think Coach Pavlansky is going to have to kind of keep them in check and say, hey, look, they have a good record, make no mistake, and they gave teams like South Range a really hard time. So, Struthers, I think, is going to be my wild card, no pun intended. But you look at Division 7 in Region 25. Springfield at number 4, Western Reserve at number 5, Lowville at 9. Now, Lowville has a lot to play for this week, looking to get that home playoff game. They got to get in that top 8. and they are just decimal points away from doing that. So again, that adds a little bit more incentive to that for Lowville, as we're Springfield again is just going to have to play their game and try to keep their head. And I think one of the things that we haven't had to deal with all year long is weather elements. It's been really nice for the last 9 weeks. Maybe a small shower here and there, but they're talking about significant rainfall tomorrow. So on a grass field in Lowville, ball security is going to be a big issue there.
Yeah, I agree. And, we have to, obviously, being rivalry week, mention the Ursuline Irish 9-0, number 1 in Region 9. You also look at Canfield, who's actually, at 5-3. They started out, everybody wrote them off. They're 5-3 sitting at number 9 in Region 9. Man, if those two meet up, I know the Irish will be foaming at the mouth for that one, but they got to take care of business with the Cardinal Mooney Cardinals. So they absolutely, in my opinion, everybody knows about Ursuline and how good they look.
Yeah, and Ursuline, they would start with Dover if the playoffs started today. And the Tornadoes are a great program, 5-4 this year, but Dover plays a very hard schedule. They have trouble scheduling games because of how good the program is. So they got to play up a lot of times, and that really gives them some good point totals. But 5-4 on there, and like they're at number 16 right now. So Ursuline would host Dover if that were to start, and Dover's got to be careful because Cheney is knocking on the door at number 7. We're talking, maybe 9/10 of a point, maybe right around there difference between 16 and 17.
Right. And I have to, you mentioned some of the teams in Division 4, Region 13. You look at West Branch at 8-1, sitting pretty at number 2. I have to mention they have a young lady there. I forget her name. Forgive me, but she is the kicker for West Branch. She is, if not their top scorer, one of them. She hasn't missed an extra point or I don't think a field goal all season long. Number 5, Struthers, 6, Poland, 7, Cardinal Mooney, 8, Niles, 9, Beaver Local, 10, Girard, and then you have East Liverpool at 13, Hubbard sitting at 16, so they're still in it. I just want to mention some of these other teams. South Range sitting at number 2, Division 5, Region 17. And then, as you mentioned, the schools in Division 7, 6, you have United at number 3 in Region 21, Jackson Milton number 7, LeBray at 11, Brookfield 12, Mineral Ridge, they control their own destiny at 13, Crestview 14. Then you have Columbiana at 16, Valley Christian sitting outside looking in. And 7, Springfield number 4, Western Reserve 5 in Region 25, Lowville 9, Southern 12, McDonald 15, and then Matthews at 2 and 7. Still, they're at 18. Not looking great for them, but we have a lot of possible teams that could make some noise. It's going to be interesting this week.
Yeah, certainly we got spoiled last year. Let's be honest, going up to Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium there in Canton and having 3 local teams in the championships with South Range, Canfield, and Warren JFK. So that's it. I hope that that's more going to become the norm than it is, the exception, because that was just an outstanding time up there at a beautiful stadium. And, I don't know about playing about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. It was never real big for me, but it's a great environment up there. And if you listen to By All Means the other day, we had Tim Street on from the OHSA, and they're trying to keep the games there. So hopefully some of these teams will get to see week 16 or 15, depending on where you're at. Hopefully they'll get to see Tom Benson Hall of Fame.
I agree. Jim, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. You have a great night. That's Jim Craven, our own Jim Craven. They have the Springfield game this week against Lowville. We will talk to you later, sir. This is Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emps. We'll be right back, everybody.
Experience nature's bounty with Creation's Backyard. Elevate your health with the most nutrient-dense foods on earth. From farm to table, sustainably cultivated with care. Grown locally in Niles, Ohio with no chemicals or synthetics ever. Unlock your culinary creativity with Creation Backyard Microgreens. Convenient local delivery and pickup options available. Order now at creationsbackyard.com or call 330-282-7208.
Jesse's Dairy Cove is a hometown favorite, located at 3743 State Route 46, across from the gazebo in Mineral Ridge. Enjoy all your favorite ice cream. We have over 32 hard scoop and over 40 soft serve favorites. We also have a large food menu, including homemade chili sauce, sloppy joes, pulled pork, fresh cut French fries, and mac and cheese. This fall, we'll start our homemade cookie and party trays. Visit our website at jessesdairycove.com to see our menu. At Jesse's Dairy Cove, we appreciate your business and wish good luck to the Rams.
If you love history, head over to YouTube and check out Blogging Through History. Hosted by Mineral Ridge High School graduate Chris Mowery, Blogging Through History visits historic sites to explore not only the well-known figures and events of the past, but also compelling stories that maybe you've never heard before. Chris would also like to wish his niece Amira Emsch and the Mineral Ridge Rams the best of luck for a successful 2023 season. From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One Network.
And welcome back to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emps. We are again going right to the phones. We have defensive coordinator of the Mineral Ridge Rams, Chet Allen, on the phone. Coach Allen, how are you doing?
Very good, Matt. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. We really appreciate you being here with us. It's always a pleasure, my brother. Coach Allen and I, aside from having a professional relationship connected to him coaching and us calling the games, he is a good friend of mine. So I appreciate you being here. Huge week, Coach. We had Coach Shaner on earlier. He talked about it. How do you deal with, this kind of a huge game and matchup, also with the playoffs looming next week?
Well, we try to stay as even keel as we can. We don't get as high as some of the fans would want us to be. We don't try to get wrapped up in the hoopla of the week. We don't, we're not in the doldrums of, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? What's going to happen? We try to get the game plan in, make sure the kids' heads are on right, and make sure they're seeing what we see, and they're doing things the right way to execute our plan.
Now, I've talked to you and Coach Shaner about how impressed that we have been with, a lot of your players, but specifically, I have to point out this young group of guys that have really been those next man up. They're young freshmen and sophomores that have stepped up and are starting. What is your take on seeing not only the amount of young guys that are playing, but how well they've played this season?
Well, it's a testament to our younger grades are getting lately, and they're getting taught the right things down below. And when we get the kids to come up to us and they're freshmen and they're sophomores, they're around us for 2 years now. I think it shows that we're coaching things the right way. And we tell these guys all the time, you don't know when your number is going to get called, so you better be ready to go. I don't care if you're 110 pounds soaking wet or you better be ready to go, because if you get a shot, give it all you got. That's all we want. That's all we want from you, is give everything you got for as long as you can, and then we'll go from there.
We had obviously known each other for a long time before now. You were the head coach at Liberty, and we called a lot of games there. You stepped away from Liberty and took a little break, and then now you're back as the defensive coordinator with one of your best friends and Coach Brian Shaner. Explain to everybody that's listening, and to me, I'm just curious, that change from being the head man to obviously, you are still, a defense coordinator. You're basically the next man up, so to speak, as an assistant head coach. But explain to us that difference between, being the guy in charge and now that you are the defensive coordinator.
Well, being a head coach, you oversee every bit of the whole program. I mean, you are the the one whose name's on the marquee. Every laser beam is pointed at you, and it's really not. It's very an unsteady seat to be sitting in because you're so high up, and everybody's gunning for you. Everybody has opinions for you. Everybody wants to give you their ideas. But if you're the one who's steering the ship, you're the one who has to know the coordinates. You're the one that has to know everything that's going on there. And when you have great assistants around you, guys that that you could trust and you could lean on, and that hey, I need you in the engine room, go do this. I need you to do with the weaponry. I need you to go over there. I need you to be in the radar room. You got to go do this. I mean, that's how Coach Shaner, he's the admiral. He's running the ship. He's doing everything. And he just has me as the defense coordinator. And, last year it was easy. Implemented it, and guys ran around with their hair on fire, and we blew up in gaps. We made things look easy, and even though some of the opponents were tough. And then this year, we're earning our keep. We're not getting as many shutouts. We're not getting as, low scoring games. We're not finishing as, some of these games that we could be. I mean, being 5-4, some of these games would have been closer. We wouldn't have been 5-4. We could be going the other way. But being a defensive coordinator, it's just like you said. It's being that head coach again. I mean, but I don't have the worries as Coach Shaner does. My worry is trying to keep those guys out of the end zone and keep passing yards down and keep rushing yards down, but still doing what's best for the kids and, trying to make them better young men. When I was the head coach, it got to a point that, it was, the definition of insanity, Matt. You with me?
Yes, sir.
The definition of insanity?
Yeah, absolutely. I do.
Doing the same thing, well, I wasn't getting that. So that's when I know I was getting a little burned out, and I needed to step away, and I needed to look at my family and see what was up. And I was lucky enough to get rejuvenated, and I had resigned in October, and by November, December-ish, I was getting courted to go somewhere else. And then I was lucky enough to spend a year out of Poland. And that year out of Poland rejuvenated me and made me want to be an assistant, get back into it, not have to do anything crazy. You drive out to Poland, you coach up your kids, you drive home. That was the beauty of it for a year. And then at the end of that last year, we finished with we lost to West Branch in second round of the playoffs, and I had told Coach Pav at the time. I said, Coach, I'm not coming back. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm not coming back. The drive, even though I live all the way out by La Brea, and I was driving all the way out to Poland, so the drive was killer. And so then it was the end of the seasons, and Coach Shaner called me up, said, hey, can I come over? I want to talk to you. And, he is a brother to me, no matter what, no matter how mad he gets at me or what he would ever say. I'll give you one thing. He'll say it to your face. He's not going to say it behind your back. He's not going to stir any trouble. He'll give you the business. And some of these guys know how to take them, and some of these guys don't. Well, luckily for me, him and I have been through some battles together that, we know we can lean on each other no matter what. And I appreciate that of him. And he is a brother, and he said, hey, I want you to come over. You could have the whole shebang. You could do the whole defense. I'm not going to bother you. I'll give my 2 cents because I'm the head coach, and I go totally respect you on that one. You're more than welcome to do that. You are the head coach. You can't put it all on me. And we have some nice dialogues, but he's never ever, came at me cross-eyed. Still, even though when we were going through a couple of games there, we were down, it was your defense, but I'm going to give him my 2 cents. That's fine. I'll take it, and we'll do it, and we'll see what happens. And if it doesn't work, then we always have a plan B. So it's been great getting back with him. We worked together 12, 13, and 14 over at Niles when he got the job first. And, then I went on to be head coach, but he asks and I do. That's all we can have for each other.
Well, I absolutely love your answer. You took any question that I had about the coaching aspect and you took care of it. I have to say this, I've said it verbally to a lot of people and I've said it on the air numerous times. This is not, me, Chet. I don't blow smoke up anybody's behind. And, I have been very impressed following the Rams this year. And I truly think you guys have one of the best coaching staffs in the Valley. The fact that Coach Shaner is such a good head man that he was able to steal you away from anyone else before you took over another job as head man. And there's two head coaches there. And I think that's why the program obviously is doing so well. Looking into this week coming up, obviously a monster game. Defensively, what do we need to watch out for from McDonald this week?
Well, we gotta make sure that we corral number 10 as much as we can and get as many hats to the ball when they run the ball, and take away their gaps and be as strong as we can up front. Try to really dominate that line of scrimmage and use our speed to our advantage. They got some big boys up front, so if we could run around them and by them, we're going to be better off. And then if they, as everything, can't let anything get behind us. If they can throw everything in front of us as much as they want, we got to come up and tackle them, and we just can't let anything get behind us. And make sure when 10 wants to run the ball and 9 wants to run the ball, we got to get more than just 1 or 2 guys on them. We got to get as many as we can, as many as 11 on them.
Well, I am just beyond pumped. Matt Lipsack, who's coming up next, my partner, he is beyond pumped. We just want to wish you good luck. I can't thank you enough for being on today. It is always a pleasure to have you on, my friend. And, I'm going to be on to the Super Bowl, so I expect you to be on again.
Well, if we get that far, that'd be great. I'm in.
All right, brother. Well, you have a good night. Thanks again for being on. Good luck. That is Coach Chet Allen, defensive coordinator of the Mineral Ridge Rams. We'll be back, everybody.
W&M Quality Roofing, LLC is an insured and bonded Mahoning Valley family-owned roofing business. At W&M, we treat your roof and home as if it's our very own. Give us a call at 330-647-0610 for a free estimate. Did you get damage from the latest storm? We also offer financing and specialists for insurance claims. For professional and efficient service, call W&M Quality Roofing at 330-647-0610.
SNK, painting your house today. SNK, painting your house
SNK Painting provides exceptional painting and refinishing services to the Mahoning Valley and surrounding communities by being an industry leader in our field, focusing on customer service and delivering extraordinary results. We offer interior and exterior painting, and we specialize in cabinet refinishing with affordable cabinet solutions. Call SNK Painting for your free estimate at 330-505-1910.
SNK, painting your house today.
With over 30 years of experience, Madurix Butcher Block in Mineral Ridge is a quality-driven company focused on great personal service. Our fresh meats are of the finest cut. We make a variety of burgers, sausages, and a full line of deli meats. Using our own smokehouse, we prepare different types of jerky, snack sticks, kibasi, bacon, hot dogs, and bone-in hams. When your tummy needs some relief, call 652-BEEF. That's 330-652-2333. From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
And welcome back to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emsch. We are again going right to the phone lines. My partner, Matt Lipsack. Thank you for being here, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Looking forward to, the rival games this week. Obviously, for me, Ursuline Mooney, go Irish. I'm pumped about that. But more than that now, and I know there's a lot of buddies of mine that are like, how dare you? But hey, my daughter is a Ram, and we are calling games for them. So I am extremely pumped up about this game that we are calling this week. What does rivalry week mean for you, Matthew?
I mean, this is going to be my first exposure to the Mineral Ridge McDonald game. Back home it was Riverside Elwood. That was the rivalry growing up, and I do like to say that at least during my high school career, Riverside, the Panthers did get the better of the Wolverines, so that was always a pleasure to take to the gridiron and beat Elwood, or Stinking Lincoln as we call them in football.
I love that. Yeah. And, for the majority of the time, I will usually not even say Cardinal Mooney, but since, we have to do that on air and I have to be as professional as I can, even though I hate them all. I have to mention, who Ursuline has. There's other people that are going to be hearing, me talk about that Holy War matchup. And I will usually always say, that team from across the river, just like, Ohio State fans will say, that team from up north. So that's how I feel about it. But now, being part of this rivalry with McDonald, it has given me a new look at it. Super important, partner. This is possibly, whoever wins is in, and, a little nerve wracking for us, but, super important this week.
It's the rivalry is one thing, but like you said, these guys are fighting to extend their season. Mineral Ridge and McDonald, obviously, different divisions, but still these computer points so very important. McDonald's sitting at 15th in Region 25, Mineral Ridge sitting at 13th in Region 21. So, the win is just so huge for both of these teams.
Yeah, it is. And, I have to mention real quick, I can hear the cooing sounds of one of your babies. Which one is it?
Alexis is here with me. My wife took John to the movies this evening.
Okay. Well, hello, little girl. The noise is just so adorable. I had to mention it. So Matthew has two beautiful children, and I can't wait to, personally meet them, but I feel like I know them already. So I anybody that hears that sound, they've got to go, "Aw," and they're adorable.
Alexis is, where she keeps trying to touch the earbud in my ear. So hopefully she doesn't end up hanging up on you. That would not be very good.
Well, if it happens, that's okay, and we'll accept it, and we'll let you call back. Again, going back to the computer points, looking at Region 21, obviously you can't ignore the fact who's sitting at number one, Kirtland, 8-1. I actually am real quick going to bring up Kirtland's season, because I am not real sure who beat them. It's about to come up here in 1 second, so bear with me. 8-1. The loss they had was to Perry, and I believe Perry is actually number one in the division that they're in. So definitely, a team who is well known in the in the playoffs, and they are always in. I remember Gerard and Perry having some really historic matchups, and that's somebody who that gave them a bump on the head. But they have not looked back. Somebody you don't want to have to deal with, obviously, in the playoffs. But looking at some of these other teams in the region. You got United, who is 8-1. Mark Means, and Mr. Dave Clark actually called a game for them. I believe it was last week, and I think they took care of Valley Christian. Then you look at number 7, a team that you and I are familiar with, Mineral Ridge, barely losing that game to Jackson Milton, who's at number 7. Let's be honest, we're not being homers here. The quarterback for the Rams, Shingledecker, went down within the first minute and a half, and they barely lost that game. Questionable call at the end. So they, would be 6-3 right now. The Rams, not even, I don't think, worrying about having to win this week. But then we're looking at number 11, LeBray. At number 12 is Brookfield. 13, again, Mineral Ridge. 14, Crestview, who's been winning the last few weeks. And then at 16 is Columbiana. And then at 17 is Valley Christian. So obviously, the importance this week of them having to win, hopefully they will. If they don't, they're going to need some help of certain teams to lose, certain teams to win. But looking at, some of these other divisions, Matt, who is jumping out at you as somebody who really could make a deep run and possibly even win a state championship?
I mean, obviously the Ursuline Irish are right up there at the top.
Mm-hmm.
South Range, obviously, they're a threat to, come back and defend their state title. Let's see, kind of scrolling through here. West Branch is up there again, but I don't know if they have it in them to go deep. Let's see here. Yeah, obviously Ursuline, number 1 in Region 9. I think Archbishop Hoban's probably going to bring it home again.
Yeah.
Akron. I mean, they're a machine.
They are.
It's all there is to it.
Well,
they are a machine.
They do, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I had to bring in, you have Massillon, who is nationally ranked. Obviously, they have to prove themselves in the playoffs and win a state championship, something that they have not done yet. They've only got state championships from the AP poll, who decided that they were state champs. So they've never won one and earned it the correct way. But man, that would end up being, if they don't have to match up during the playoffs, what a state championship that game would be.
And it has happened, I think, at least once or twice that they've either met in the final, or maybe it was in the semifinal.
I was the final.
Within the past couple of years.
Yes,
and
yeah.
Hoban took them to the woodshed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But again, that was a couple of years ago. But yes, Hoban has been a machine. But like you said, Massillon maybe gonna try to come in and prove something here.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. A lot of teams that have the possibility in the area to, make the playoffs. How many will move past round 1? That will be interesting to see. Something you and I, Matt, have talked a lot about is, it's great if some of these teams are, year in and year out going 8-2, 9-1, 10-0, but they're playing weak schedules, then they get to the OHSAA playoffs and they have problems.
Yeah, exactly. You have to test your team. Going 10-0 is great, but if you're a D1 school playing, 8 Division 7 schools and you're 10-0, then obviously your team hasn't faced that much of a challenge. So, and obviously I'm going to extremes there. I doubt there's any schedule that actually exists like that. But still, that is, I guess, the interesting thing about the way that high school football works in Ohio, as opposed to Pennsylvania, where I'm from, where, you only play schools really there from your same classification, except for maybe one a season, and you're grouped regionally with teams, and you have to finish in like the top like 1, 2, or 3 in your division to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of puts more emphasis on the regular season, I guess, and you see more parity because you're not going to see a Division 1 playing a Division 7 every week. You're going to see Division 3s playing Division 3s, see Division 4s playing Division 4s, and that's it.
Right.
To me, it's a little better way, but whatever.
I agree 100%. Moving away from high school to the NCAA, who, Matt, is jumping out to you right now as some of those teams that really could make a run at the moment? They've got a lot more games obviously to play, but could possibly make a run into the playoffs and be somebody that could maybe win a national championship.
Well, Matt, I'll tell you what, we are going to find out about Ohio State and Penn State this week.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to find out. One of them is going to be a contender. One of them is going to be a pretender.
Agreed.
I think obviously history has shown us which one is which. And, I don't think anybody is truly running away with it right now. Georgia has, obviously they're still undefeated, but they're shown that they're, at least human. It's not like they're blowing squads out left and right.
Right.
Michigan hasn't gotten into the meat of their Big Ten schedule yet. They haven't really been tested as of yet either. But then you get to number 3. That's Ohio State.
Number 3, actually, the Huskies is number 3.
Number 3, the Huskies. Okay, so there've been some flip flopping. But so the Huskies, they did well against Oregon. Can they get to the Pac-12 title game? Can they win the Pac-12 title game? Is their defense strong enough to compete against some of the, bigger, heavier teams in the SEC or the Big Ten? I don't know that I'm convinced of that. But there's like we're going to find out about Penn State and Ohio State this weekend, and I'm really looking forward to that game.
Yeah, I am. It's a giant matchup with Week 7. Looking at ESPN.com, number 1, the Georgia Bulldogs, not a surprise. Number 2, Michigan. I agree with you wholeheartedly. They are not into that stronger portion of their schedule. They're going to be having to prove themselves in the coming weeks, just like Ohio State. You look at, just a couple years ago, J.J. McCarthy was, a first-year starter, and man, has he come far. Blake Corum, is doing a really good job. He had 2 touchdowns against Indiana. So, I think that they are deserving. They have quote unquote little brother up next. They're at Michigan State. So, Michigan State struggling a little bit, but, looking at number 3, the Washington Huskies, I did get to see the end of that matchup that they had last week and against Oregon, and that 36-33 win. It was just one of the best games that I've seen all season. 6-0. You think about these teams coming in, they're going to be joining the Big Ten, them, and, I have to mention, USC, Fighting Irish, baby. Not the same old Fighting Irish. They showed up and laid a butt whooping, took the Trojans behind the woodshed 48-20. What's your opinion about that matchup?
Good defense is still going to beat good offense most days, Matt. And, Caleb Williams, he has, the potential, I think, to be an elite quarterback. Mm-hmm. But, you take away his weapons, you put pressure on him, make him question what he's seeing. And, that's what you get is 48-20.
Agreed. We're running low on time here, so I want to real quick tell us what's going on with the Phantoms, who's coming up next, and what can everybody do? What day and what time are we looking at?
So the Phantoms last weekend were in Lincoln. They split a series with the Lincoln Stars. This weekend, they will still be on the road. Please do not touch my phone, sweetheart. This coming weekend, they will be on the road. They have a game in Madison, and then they have a game in Chicago, and then finally, they will return to Cavelli Center for a 3-3 weekend. They have 2 against the Sioux Falls Stampede. Those will be on the 27th and the 28th, both puck drops scheduled for 7:05. And then on the 29th, Sunday in the afternoon, 4:05 puck drop, we have the Madison Capitals coming back into town to battle the Phantoms. Great team still available. Call 330-747-PUCK for tickets.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I definitely will be coming to another hockey game soon. Matt, thank you so much. I can't wait to call the game. We have a parade tomorrow to go to. See you, partner.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks again to Matt Lipsack, and we'll see you back, everybody. This is Matt Emsch. I'm your host.
From high school
see you
to
next
the pros
week.
and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm going to do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
SNK, painting your house today. SNK, painting your house
SNK Painting provides exceptional painting and refinishing services to the Mahoning Valley and surrounding communities by being an industry leader in our field, focusing on customer service and delivering extraordinary results. We offer interior and exterior painting, and we specialize in cabinet refinishing with affordable cabinet solution. Call SNK Painting for your free estimate at 330